welcome everyone. So as Preeti explained, we're going to focus on building effective rubrics. And as you'll see on the next slide, I'm going to talk about sort of two main elements of how I use Kritik to build quality rubrics for peer assessment. So the first element for building a strong rubric for use in peer review activities is the competencies themselves. And this is probably the element that most of us are more familiar with. So probably, I'm guessing everyone here has used a rubric before just as an instructor to assess student work. And so competencies are the skills that we are looking for when we're assessing a piece of student writing using the rubric. And so in order to make the rubrics more accessible and to help use a rubric to help students build that skill of textual analysis evaluation so that they can analyze writing better, we want to make sure that the rubrics kind of scaffold up in difficulty. So you can see on this slide, I have there in the second bullet point under accessibility, that for my beginning students, my first semester, first assignment students in my first year writing class, I begin with a larger number of criteria that are more concrete and easily identifiable. And then as the assignments get more advanced, as my students spend more time in the course, I scaffold up to rubrics for later assignments will have fewer number of criteria that are more complex and would require kind of more skill of interpretation on the part of the student reviewer. My sections last fall were team-based face-to-face classes, and there were 35 students in the room for each section, and I had 4 sections. So that's 140 first-year writing students that I taught in a single semester. So one of the main reasons we subscribed to Kritik as part of this initiative is because of the first bullet point, to try to reduce that administrative burden or that grading burden. Obviously, when you have 140 students, you can't engage with grading in the kind of traditional model of first-year writing. And so our model in this course was to have students work in teams, and some of the major assignments they did were individual assignments, and others, their final assignment was a group project. So there were a smaller number of artifacts to grade at the end of the semester. They were larger projects, but because they were fewer in number and I had been working with students throughout the term, the grading burden was less. And Kritik was a way to give students that experience of working on evaluation of writing and also getting some feedback on the draft version of their assignments without me having to go in and make draft comments on every single one. So it was a way to kind of reduce that workload as well.